What's the story, Morning Glory? What is the word, Hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this review of Love and Marriage Huntsville Season 6, Episode 14, Kaya What? So this was a really good episode. It was worth the wait. This was a really good episode. So we start off where we left off. 2 weeks ago. No, yeah, 2 weeks ago, because it didn't come on last week. And this is where Kimmy and Kaiwa are having their one-on-one conversation. And Kimmy's confronting Kaiwa about not dispelling rumors that Kimmy was the side chick. So Kaiwa was like, I never said that you were the side chick. And Kimmy was like, well, I know you didn't say it, but you didn't try to clarify it when people were out there on these internet streets talking about me and claiming that I was the side chick and saying that I was the reason why you and Maurice got a divorce and I broke up a happy home. But so I expected you to come out with the truth, because it would have seemed a lot more believable coming from you than coming from either me or Maurice. And so Kaiwa says that she has nothing to do with that. She's taking no responsibility for what other people were saying about Kimmy. And Kimmy said that this also bothered her because she didn't want her son thinking that there was any truth to these rumors that she was the side piece and the cause of Maurice and Kaiwa's marriage breaking up. And Kimmy said that she took a whole lot for the team because they were so protective of Monster. And I don't know what she meant by this. I don't know if she meant that they didn't want Monster to know that his parents didn't want to be with one another. It was easier to put the blame on Kimmy for taking his dad away from his mom. I didn't understand how she said that she took it for the team because everybody wanted to protect Monster. I didn't get it. I didn't understand what that meant at all. But that's what she said. And so Kyle was like, well, for the record, I never said that you were the side chick. And Kimmy took this as an apology because in her confessional, Kimmy said, well, it was kind of like, she was saying, I'm sorry that you felt the way that you did, or I'm sorry. One of those sorries that are not really like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that this made you feel this way. I'm sorry, but whatever. This was nowhere near being an apology. I don't know why Kimmy thought this was anything like an apology, whether a good one or a bad one. Kaiwa did not seem apologetic. Kaiwa was like, I don't know what you're talking about. This has got nothing to do with me. I wasn't the one that put those rumors out there. I never said that you were a side chick. Whatever the people were saying on these social media streets, I had nothing to do with that. But for the record, if you want me to say that you weren't the side chick, I never said, no, this is what she said. For the record, I never said that you were the side chick. That's all she said. She didn't come out and say, you're right, Kimmy, because you were not the side chick. Me and Maurice, we were having problems way before he met you, and our marriage was dead in the water when you and him got together, and there was no hope of resuscitation of that marriage. No, she didn't say it. She was just like, well, I never said that you were the side chick. So I've, like I said, many, many times on my channel, I have my own opinions on this whole Kimmy, Kaiwa, Maurice situation. I think that Kaiwa was led to believe by Maurice that they were reconciling their marriage. And I think at the same time that he had Kaiwa believing that, he was messing around with Kimmy. So did Kimmy know that he was still trying to make things work out with Kaiwa? I don't know. Because Maurice, he's kind of sleazy. He's proven to be sleazy. There was a time when I thought that Maurice, out of all the men on this show, I really thought that Maurice was the most upstanding one compared to everybody else. Now he's just as dirty and just as sleazy as Marceau and Martel and everybody else. So I don't know what went down, but when I look at Kaiwa, I have a tendency to believe that she really thought that she and Maurice were going to get back together and that they're going to work things out. And then she was blindsided by his relationship with Kimmy. That's just my personal opinion. Moving on from there, we have Stormy. Stormy meets up with Melody. That relationship is over. That friendship with Stormy and Melody is completely over. So she meets up with Melody, and I guess she had to go through Melody's DMs because she had to go through Melody's DMs just to invite her, because Melody, I don't think still has not given Stormy her new number. So Stormy was like, well, it went down in the DMs, and I guess that's how she invited Melody to this little get together. So they talk about Stormy's mom, and basically, Melody wanted to know, did your mom know, like that me and you were friends? Like, did she know about me before? Like, I don't know how she phrased it, but basically, like, um, did your mom know that me and you were friends? And so why would she say the things that she said about me? And Stormy was like, well, I can't control my mom. It's basically what she gathered from the internet and from watching the show. She had formed her own opinion about you. And, kind of like Stormy was trying to make it look like her mom was basically like a non-factor in their friendship. And Melody was like, you know what? I'm done dealing with people's moms, people's moms who don't like me, because I had to deal with it with Letitia and her mom. And now I'm dealing it with you and your mom. And I just don't have I don't have time or the energy for any of that mama drama. I really don't. So Stormy felt like the friendship was fading before her mom was even a factor in any of this. And so she feels like, our friendship is dissolving or it's in trouble. And it's got nothing to do with my mom. It's because you're not really being a friend. I thought that, after the show ended, we were still going to be kicking it. We were still going to be hanging out or whatever, still continuing on with our friendship. But you ghosted me. I knew that you were the kind of person to ghost people. I just didn't know that you're going to be ghosting me. Now, she didn't say this in this episode. She has said this previously. But this is her approach to her friendship with Melody. And she started off the conversation by saying, you seem like someone who doesn't like to have difficult conversations. And Melody put her straight and said, if I didn't want to have difficult conversations, I wouldn't be here and I wouldn't have hosted a tea. But I think Stormy meant, outside of the show, when I was trying to contact you, when I wanted to have conversations with you, you kept on avoiding me. I think that's what she was trying to say. But this friendship, I don't know what's going on with Stormy and Melody, but the bottom line is this friendship is over. I don't think it could be what it once was. There's no trust between these two women anymore. And I've always felt like, Melody, and I like Melody. I do like her, but Melody is not perfect. She has her issues as well. And I think Melody, she's your friend when the cameras are on, and then when the cameras are off, she's doing her own thing, living her own life, and she ain't got time for you. And I feel like Stormy learned that the hard way. Everybody else understands Melody, but Stormy didn't. Stormy thought that, oh, this is my girl, we're friends, and it's not going to change when the season is over. But it changed. So now she knows, like everybody else, now she knows how Melody operates when the cameras are off. Moving on from there, we have Letitia. So Letitia's invited everybody to the venue where she's going to be hosting the Black Expo. And this is where we find out that Stormy and Courtney are going to be joining the Black Expo because Melody decided that she wasn't going to do it. And we saw that 2 weeks ago when Melody and Letitia had their conversation one-on-one, where Melody was like, I cannot be working with Martell. It's just not going to happen, especially since he's trying to take custody of my children, and I'm going to be seeing my kids even less than I'm seeing them now. So there's no way I can work peacefully next to a man who's trying to take my kids away. That's not happening. So now we see that Courtney and Stormy are replacing Melody. I don't know why Letitia was trying to act like, no, that's not what I said. No, it's not what you said, but it's exactly what you did. You are replacing Melody with Stormy and Courtney. So, Kimmy got what she wanted because she wanted the Black Expo to reference the comeback group, because that's exactly what it is. So don't act like the Black Expo is something completely different and unique and apart from the comeback group. This is the comeback group. So she got what she wanted, and on the flyer it said, Black Expo initiative of the comeback group or something like that. It mentions the comeback group. So Kimmy's happy. Martell thinks that Melody should have still participated and put personal issues to the side. I don't think so, Martell, because you're sneaky. You're a slime ball. You are, no. Absolutely not. There's no way. I don't know, how you can even think that Melody could possibly put aside the fact that you are taking her to court to take full custody of the children. And you think that she can just forget about that and put that to the side and compartmentalize that and act like nothing's going on in order to do this, especially since she wasn't cool with this to begin with. This did not go how she planned it to go, this whole Black Expo thing. She ain't feeling Letitia and Marceau at all. She really ain't feeling Martell. But Martell thinks that, I don't know why she just couldn't forget about the lawsuit that I filed against her and just do this, whatever this is. So Martell, you're stupid for thinking that. Maurice was disappointed as well that Melody wasn't going to be there, but he's okay with it because I guess Stormy and Courtney stepped in. I guess, Maurice is fine now. Everyone's there except Mel. So Maurice, he's with his son Monster playing basketball. And this is when he has a really good, I felt like it was a really good, meaningful, very necessary conversation with his son. And Maurice has now realized that he cannot raise Monster the way that he was raised. That him and Monster are two completely different people. He thought that they were a lot alike. And so he was trying to raise him the way he was raised, or the way that he raised himself, and instill in him the same values and the same work ethics that he had. But Monster, these new age children, you just can't do it. Okay. It's just not the same. So he understands he has to approach Monster differently. He has to have a more open line of communication, allow Monster to express himself. Don't be the drill sergeant, be the dad. And Maurice talked about how when he was Monster's age, he had 2 jobs. Marceau had 3 jobs. They were out there hustling, cutting grass, cutting hair, doing this, doing that. That was a different time. First of all, Maurice and Marceau come from a big family. I don't know how many kids are in that damn family, but it's a big family. And I'm pretty sure the parents could not afford to give their children everything that they ever wanted. So they had to go out there, make their own money, do their own thing, because I'm pretty sure the finances were stretched, within that family. Monster doesn't have it hard like that. So Monster was not driven to go buy his own clothes, so I have to go get a job. I got to go make my own money so I can have clothes to wear. No, he's got a successful mother, a successful father. So where is he going to have that in him, that motivation in him to go out there and hustle and cut grass and cut hair so he can have money to buy clothes to go to school in? Like, come on now. So thank God Maurice realized this. So he's going to approach it a whole lot differently, allow Monster to express himself more, listen to Monster more, and just kind of tweak some things. He still has to do his chores, obviously, but as far as being this drill sergeant, as far as being this drill sergeant and being disappointed in Monster because Monster was not like the way he was at the age of 16, he's realizing that was wrong. That was the wrong approach. So this conversation, in my opinion, it went well. And I saw like them really trying to bond. Moving on from there, we have Courtney. So Courtney, Stormy's husband, goes to see his mom. And I think the purpose of this visit was to talk about whether or not, he should have another baby with Stormy, because Stormy is ready to have another baby right now. Courtney, not so much. So this conversation about whether or not to have a second child turns into a conversation about Courtney's dad. And now his dad had abandoned him and was not there for him at all, and how that affected him. And this has a lot to do with him wanting to have a second child. But this is my thing. I understand where Courtney was coming from. That feeling of abandonment, the hurt, the pain is still there, because he started crying. You have this big bear of a man crying, breaking down because his father was not there. And it was hard for him as a child to not have his dad there, especially when he saw other kids his age with their fathers teaching them how to play ball, their fathers attending all of the games, and his dad was MIA. And that hurt boy is still very much in him. So it was really, really sad to see him cry, and it was very emotional to see. I mean, this man was, and the way he was crying, it was that kind of cry that he has suppressed for a long, long time, and now it just came out. Like, he probably had no intentions of being this emotional in this scene, but this conversation that he was having with his mom about his dad, the cry was like, you're not going to hold me back no more. I'm coming out. And that cry just came out. And it was the cry, like, it was basically watching 9-year-old Courtney or 10-year-old Courtney, that little boy crying for his dad. That's basically what we were witnessing. So anyways, he says that because his dad wasn't there for him, this is the reason why he does not want to have any more children. And I don't understand, because you already have a kid. That would be a great justification for not having kids at all. To be like, what, I have a lot of daddy issues that are unresolved. So I don't think I'm in a position to raise a child right now, because I have, I got to deal with my issues with my, absentee dad. But you already have a kid. So, you've already acknowledged that you're going to be a better father to your son than your dad ever was to you. So what difference does it make if you had another one? I don't understand. Does he feel like his first child is gonna have less of his time because he's gonna have another kid? He's gonna have to share his time, his love, his affection, amongst two children instead of just one. I didn't understand that at all, of why him not having a dad is preventing him from having a second child, because you already have a child. So I didn't understand, but it was still a beautiful scene. It was still a beautiful moment. Now I got a tiny little bone to pick with Mama. So his mom, who looks like his sister, because this woman is looked so young and so beautiful, but his mom said that, basically was trying to encourage him, it's okay to have another kid. And I think the mom was trying to say, if you're going to have another kid, get started on it sooner rather than later, because if there's a bigger age gap between the kids are not going to be as close. What did she say exactly? The siblings will lose connection when they're spread apart. And I have to strongly disagree with that, because number one, I have seen siblings who are 5 years or more apart talk about how close they were. I have seen families where siblings who were further apart in age were actually closer than the siblings that they were closer to in age. And I've heard people say that the reason why they were not that close to the sibling that was closer to them in age was because there was more competition. They were so close in age that they competed in a lot of the same things and were running around in the same circles, and they're always grouped together. So the competition was worse. But siblings who were spread more apart didn't have that. They didn't have to worry about sharing friends or sharing clothes or whatever because of that age gap, but that made them closer because that competitiveness wasn't there in between them. I was I don't understand why she said that. You can be close in age and be close and be the best of friends, and you can be further apart in age and still be the best of friends. So having an age gap, I don't think really. Now, if it's a 20-year age gap, okay, that's a whole other story. But if it's 4, 5, 6, 7, even 10, I don't think it's going to necessarily mean that they're not going to be friends. So this was a really good scene. And I just wish that Courtney was this vulnerable with Stormy. Moving on from there, it's the day of the Black Expo event. So Stormy is stressed out. She shows up, and she showed up. Okay. She had she wasn't just going to show up with a tiny little booth and a couple of bottles of her product. No, she had the wall decor. She brought furniture to make it look like a living room. She brought all of her products. She did the damn thing. And so, but she was kind of worried because she has a deadline for her own business, and she was worried about whether or not Courtney was going to make the deadline. And so she felt like she should have been helping Courtney try to meet this deadline instead of being at this damn Black Expo. Stormy tells Tisha that Tisha never told them about the dimensions, which I'm thinking to myself would have been very, very critical. If you're going to have multiple vendors sharing a space, and you have limited space because it's not outside, you have very limited space, why wouldn't you tell them you're going to have so much room to set up your stuff so they can have an idea of what to bring and how much to bring and what to do? Because Tisha was complaining about how Stormy took up the entire back of the venue, like an entire corner or the entire back wall of the venue, and she had more vendors coming in. Okay, girl, that's your fault because you didn't tell them what they were working with. So Stormy brought this up to Letitia. Letitia says in her confessional how Stormy took up all this damn space. Well, like I said before, that's just your fault. And Letitia wants to be Melody so bad, but there's levels to that. Okay, I've always believed that Letitia's been jealous of Melody because Melody has been that girl. Melody has been the businesswoman, the entrepreneur. She's done her thing. Melody does the damn thing, and she does it so well and so flawlessly that Letitia thought it was going to be easy to do what Melody does. But Letitia, you need to pay attention to the damn details. She didn't tell her vendors how much space they were going to have. So that was a fiasco because now she's worried if all the vendors are going to have enough space for their products. And so then we find out later, okay, we'll get to that later. Marceau shows up on the scene. Marceau has lost weight. You can definitely tell. He has been working out, taking his weight loss journey seriously. You can see it in his face and definitely in his body. He has lost a lot of weight. So Marceau wants Stormy to pay for the vendor spot. Okay, so they have to pay for their spot. So he approaches Letitia and he's asking Letitia, did she pay for her spot? And Letitia said, no, she didn't. And so Marceau's like, well, aren't you going to tell her? And Letitia's like, no, but you can tell her because she's scared. You want to be that boss lady, right? You want to be that boss woman, but now you're too scared to approach people to collect money. So then Marceau approaches Stormy and he's like, so Stormy, did you send that $100 for the space? And Stormy was like, what $100? And Marceau explains, and Stormy was like, well, why didn't you mention that in the damn meeting? Like, why are you talking about it the day of? While she's in the middle, completely frazzled and trying to get her space together, worried about this deadline for her own company that Courtney's trying to reach. Now here comes this fool talking about, did you send your $100? Okay, why are we acting like Phaedra in that one scene in The Real Housewives of Atlanta where she was collecting her attorney fees in the damn parking lot? Why don't you send an invoice or do it the way that you're supposed to do it professionally instead of just, approaching someone like a drug dealer on a dark street corner asking for money? Why don't you do it the professional way to keep records? Where's the documentation, the paperwork? So Stormy gets upset and because it's just very disorganized. And Melody tried to tell them, Melody tried to tell them at the meeting on how things should be, how things should get done. So, but they didn't want to listen to Melody. I'm confused. Where I'm confused is they got the sponsorships for this event. So they got paid by the sponsors. Why are you collecting money for the space? And if you are collecting money for the space, and if that's how these type of things are done, why didn't you tell them people beforehand? But anyways, so Stormy goes, that's weird. That's very weird, and it's low vibrational. And let's not forget, tacky as hell, that a businessman, approaches another business person talking about, where's my money? Where's my change? Where's the invoice? So Stormy, she's like, she puts Marceau in his place, talking about it's very low vibrational. It's really weird that you're asking me for this on the day of. Why wasn't this discussed before? So when he can't handle Stormy on his own, he calls Letitia over. And Stormy goes, let me tell you what your husband just told me. And so Marceau puts his hand on Stormy's arm, like, wait a minute. And she's like, don't touch me. Don't touch me. And that's where the episode ends. Stormy put this man in his place. Very low vibrational. Very, very, what did she say? Weird. Yeah, exactly. I'm just really surprised. Like, what is this? What is this? Anywho, didn't tell people about how much space they were going to have to show their stuff. Didn't talk about no vendor fee. Where's the contract? But you're running a multi-million-dollar company. Okay. Thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. On your way out, don't forget to rate the video. If you like this content, subscribe to my channel, and I'll definitely talk to you later. Bye.